Hi everyone and welcome to $1 million App Ideas. I'm Pietro Messineo, I'm an indie dev and I successfully exited some apps in the past. And that's why I feel comfortable today in giving you some suggestions or even some recommendations on how you can enlarge your app portfolio. So in this new format I'm going to unveil 3 app ideas every week. And so for each app we're gonna see what is the app about, the revenues of the last 3 months, how many downloads it gets, how complicated it is to make such an app, and even the selling price. So in case you want to sell it, I will just tell you what's the rough price of it. So the app that I picked today is a very special app. It's indeed what I call a seasonal app. But what does that mean? It's basically an app which is being used only for a specific period of time and that is actually not gonna be used daily. So on April 8th, the sun, the moon, and the earth were aligned. And so through this particular app, you could actually set a timer as a reminder before the eclipse would happen. Even you could check the forecast and get some community advices. There is also a map which shows you where you can get the best view of the eclipse. So let's see how much money this app made in the last 3 months. Well, you will be surprised to know that it got $54,000. But what is more interesting, as it's a seasonal app and it's relatively new because if I'm not wrong, it's been released in February of this year, it basically had a peak during the week of the eclipse. And so how many downloads it got? 200,000 or 206. Which basically means people were really interested to download such a niche of app. So everybody's crazy about Eclipse, and as you can imagine, there is always an app for anything. Let's move on about the complexity of this app. Surprise, surprise, we are back with a 3 out of 10, because we will see it very soon. And so, how could you sell potentially this app? Well, as this app, as I said, it's a seasonal app, and we got a peak of downloads and of course revenues only on the week of the eclipse. We're not expecting that it's gonna be 50,000 like in 3 months and stuff like that. So it will align even more during around like $300-400 a week or more or less something like that based on the statistics. But anyway, we cannot we will never know until we will see the yearly incomes of this app. So we will see if it's stabilized or not. But usually, in order to give a selling price, we need to consider several factors, which includes the revenue trends, which is what I was just talking about, the profit margins, the user growth rates, the market potential, and the app's sustainability. So the usual range is for the revenue multiplier, it's from 3 times and 10 times the yearly revenue. So let's say that if this app made 54,000 in the last quarter, we multiply by 4, so we obtain roughly the yearly revenues of this app, which is around $200,000, 216. And so if we apply the basic multiplier of 3 times the yearly revenue, we got a $648,000 of exit, which is basically the money that the developers would eventually get if they would sell their app. But is it gonna really stay stable in terms of revenues and downloads? Or we will have to wait until the next eclipse, which is gonna be next year or maybe in 2 years, the best one in August. Anyway, let's see how we can make such an app. Of course, we can go native, or maybe we can fall back with some third-party libraries, but let's see. So first of all, as the app is offering timers, you can make timer in Swift, which is fairly easy and simple. And how about the weather? Well, you can use the weather kit from Apple. It's like I think 2 or 3 years that Apple is having its own weather API that you can pay based on request, and that's it. You can make your forecast for the eclipse, or as I said, you can fall back to the open weather map, which is offering a free tier of weather forecast divided by 3 hours intervals, and it could do the same job basically. Then it's more up to you if you want to go all native or if you want to use Open Weather Map because you already had experience. And now about monetization. How this app is monetizing? Well, you will be surprised to know that it's only having in-app purchases, and actually only one for $3, and that's it. So while I was analyzing this app, I honestly noticed that they do not offer many features for payment. And the only features that they make for payment, which is timer and forecast, you can imagine why they are for payment, because of course they have to pay something to the forecast in order to show you the forecast information. And so they want these $3 to leverage the expenses that they have. For the rest, the community feature, the map, and the information related to the Eclipse are all for free. So as usual, you may ask yourself, where can I get my first 1,000 of downloads if I release this kind of app? As usual, you can try to cooperate with an influencer or an Instagrammer, Twitter, on tweet, or whatever, like other social network, even TikTok may work fine. Or you can cold mail in some blogs. You can improve the ASO keywords in order to rank up on App Store. And if you have some budget, you can invest it on Apple search ads. So the app that I was talking about today is the Eclipse app from the Eclipse company. So go download it and check it out. Maybe get inspired to build the next weird app of this kind. And as usual, that wraps up our app idea of the week actually, because today is Friday and it's the last app of the week. And so I hope that this concept sparks inspiration for your upcoming app portfolio. And as usual, I want to add a little disclaimer. All the data that we saw in this video related to revenues, downloads, and whatever else should be considered as estimates because they come from public tools, which may not be that accurate. So as usual, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, follow us in the community, and even follow me on Twitter. See you in the next video.